friends. Well, let's talk about how a 12-volt fridge does in um, Vancouver, BC, Pacific Northwest climate. As you may be able to hear, it's raining. Today is November 1st, and it's noon, and it's been raining all night and cloudy all day. And my battery is currently at 12.2. My fridge is off. Why is it off? It shuts off. It shuts off once the battery goes to 12.1, 12.2, and it has this feature within it that it shuts itself off, which is good. It's saving my batteries from being damaged. So what I'm learning is that the fridge struggles in this climate. I'll tell you that I have 150 watts of solar, and I have two 6-volt batteries, deep cycle batteries. So yeah, it's I don't know. It could possibly be if I add way more solar, might make a difference. If I had more batteries, might make a difference. But I know for sure that driving in my situation is not enough to keep my fridge running. I don't really drive that much. I drive maybe 5,000 kilometers a year. And like yesterday, I drove maybe 20 minutes. The average I drive a day is half an hour, 20 minutes maximum. I shouldn't say maximum, but it's unusual that I drive more than half an hour in a day. And often I'll drive way less, like 10 minutes. Because often on my days off, I just stay around where my kids live so that I can get to them quickly. And there's a lot of resources available near me, like coffee shops, libraries, and stuff like that. So I like to hang out in areas where there's things like that available, which means I don't drive that much. And I like not driving because it's cheaper on gas, less wear and tear in the vehicle, etc., etc. But as a result, my alternator is not charging the battery as much as it might be if you drove like an hour a day or something like that. But I have a feeling even if you drove that much, it still wouldn't be enough to live without any solar. I think even in the climate of clouds and rain, solar is the best option for power, because you're still getting some energy from a daylight, even if it's raining. Unless it's really dark, like if it's really dark clouds, then you're going to get not so great solar. But in general, solar is a win, and I still recommend the solar for sure. So with the fridge, right now I'm at 12.2, and if I had that fridge on, I'm sure it would be much lower. In fact, I did have it on, and it shut itself off, like I said. Often what I'll do is I'll just shut my fridge off for a few days at a time. Like if I'm going to be bringing my kids to school in the morning, and I just have cereal at my ex-wife's. So my soy milk is in their fridge, and I can just not worry about that. So as you can see, 12.2. And the sun, well, not the sun, but it's been daylight for a number of hours, for like 5 hours. So I think at around 2 or 3 o'clock, it's to have reached its peak daylight, so to speak. The radiation intensity, if there was any sunlight, would be at its peak. So seeing as how it's 2 hours away from that time, 2 or 3 hours away, I don't think we're going to get much better than this. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to start up the van for a few minutes, and even if that doesn't really do too much, maybe it's a psychological thing. I'll feel good about having some charging on the battery. That's what my son and daughter made me for Father's Day last year. My son made the frame out of like popsicle sticks. My daughter made the picture. I put them together. So my fridge is a Truckfridge Indel B, and I bought it on the recommendation of Bob Wells. Well, at least he showed off his Truckfridge Indel B, and I like the fact that it had the same exact compressor, the Danfoss compressor. They have a new name for it, but as the really good quality Dometic fridges, but it was significantly cheaper, like $300 or $400 cheaper for me up in Canada. So yeah, I went and go ahead and bought that. Part of the thing was I was like, is this fridge even going to work in the Northwest where it's always raining and stuff? Like it rains from October, November, all the way till April. It's going to be raining. And we're going to have lots of dark days. So I was hesitant to spend like $500-$600 on a fridge when it might just be a very fancy cooler. So I'm glad in a way that I didn't spend a lot of money. But so far the fridge has been working fine. I haven't had any issues. It's always functioned as it should be. I never used it as an ice maker. It does have that feature, or a freezer, I should say. Ice maker, what am I talking about? Because that would really draw a lot of energy, and so I never bothered. I should also talk about the summer with the fridge. What happens in the summer is when it gets really hot, you have a lot of sunlight, which is like we had a really nice summer this past summer in Vancouver. And the sun was shining almost every day. Problem was, we had a lot of heat. And when it's 30 degrees or 28 degrees outside Celsius, it's 5 or 6, 7 degrees hotter than that inside the van. So that fridge, when it's like 37 Celsius, that fridge is on constantly because it's trying to keep the food, the internal temperature at 4 degrees Celsius. I read that if you set your temperature in your fridge above 4 degrees Celsius, decomposition and bacteria growth will be a problem. So shouldn't have it at 5 or 6 degrees. It should be 4 or below. Probably between 2 and 4 would be ideal. So yeah, it's a challenge in the summer as well because the fridge is constantly on, which of course draws the battery down. And once the sun goes down, it's still warm in the van because you have all the day's heat. It could still be warm outside even though the sun's down. Cooler, yes, but so essentially means that fridge is working a lot in the summer. So what is the solution to this situation? Well, I could add more solar, and a future van build that I may do in a year or 2 or 3 or who knows when I buy a new van, I'm going to put as much solar as I can fit. I'm going to have like minimum of 400 watts, 300 watts, maybe up to 500 watts. And I'm going to have like 4 deep cycle AGMs. And I'm going to go overkill. I'm going to spend the money and I'm going to go nuts on the solar. I can afford it, and it's never a bad thing to have lots of solar. And as Bob Wells says, he's never heard anybody complaining about having too much solar. So maybe that will solve this and I'll be fine, but I don't know. I don't know if that's going to even really... I don't know. Well, it remains to be seen. So that's the solution. I'm not going to drive more just to keep my batteries charged. So hopefully with more solar, more batteries, the fridge situation will be solved. Now, one thing I have noticed, that's a good thing, is that even if the fridge has been off all night, if I don't open it, the soy milk is still cold. It's cold enough to drink, and that's a great thing because that's the main reason I wanted a fridge, so that I can have cold soy milk for my cereal in the morning. Excuse me. So that's great. It still acts like a cooler, keeps it all sealed in. Just got to make sure I don't open it. The negative side is I can't really keep anything like, we have like vegan mayonnaise and stuff, which is like expensive. It's like $6 or $7 a jar. And I cannot risk having a fridge that's not going to be turning on, because that stuff is going to go bad, and then it's going to... I actually did an experiment the other day where I left it in there for a couple days, and I managed to get away with it, but it's not a good idea. So suffice it to say, having lots of cold, like treating it as a normal fridge like you would in a house or an apartment, is not going to happen in this climate with a 12-volt fridge. Now, another option that some people opt for is a propane-powered fridge, one that's partly... You have the option of 12-volt propane or plug-in 110. I don't really like the idea of using a propane fridge because you have to be very careful of where you park. You have to always make sure you're on a flat surface. And, of course, there's the added cost of paying for the propane. It's not really, for me, it's not really about paying for it. It's more about, oh my goodness, now I got to go change my propane tanks again. And, it's another thing that just rather not have to do. It's like a chore that I'd rather avoid doing if I can avoid it. So using little propane as possible is a good thing, not just because of cost. Alright guys, well, there are some updates on the fridge. The fridge itself is working well, but the power that I'm getting doesn't seem to be working so great in terms of keeping it on. Would I buy the fridge again? Yes. Would I buy the same fridge, the same Truckfridge NDLB again? Yes. What would I change? Increase my solar, increase my batteries. Thanks for watching, and be well, my friends.